So you want to learn how to fire a cannon. Well, the first thing you do is let's go practice. Let's look at some drill camps in the server selection here. Select artillery. Matters. And here we go. And so spawned and find the drill camp. So you're looking away. Press T. And that's not it. It's the cannons with the target. So let's go over there. So over here, this is 3-inch. And it looks like maybe it was fire, but it looks like it's in the same spot. It hasn't been sponged. Somebody just opened up the caissons back there. Caisson meaning little box. So let me go back. So if you're new to this, then this is for you. What I did is I approached the cannon on this side of it, so the cannon's right side, and you just kind of aim the middle of your monitor towards that barrel, and that selection came up to sponge it. So now we go back over here. Now, if you've just spawned into a regular game, go ahead and sponge it. That's kind of a way to let people know that, hey, this cannon's mine. Then go ahead, if it's at the beginning of the game and there's a lot of time, go ahead and pick this up, go click to the left, and press shift and spin this caisson around so that it faces your cannon. I'm kind of like looking back and seeing it moving along. That's good. That saves a little time from, if your cannon's like from that direction, you're running back, you run back over here, you pick up your shell, then you have to go back over here, run around that wheel, and then run back. So having it kind of face your cannon means you come back over here, grab it, turn around, go back. It makes it a lot easier. It saves you a few seconds, which over the span of a game is enough to justify spinning this thing around. So let's take a shell. Come up, you approach it, you see how it kind of lights up there. Insert round, press F. When you were swabbing it, you had that option to swab, and you press F, and that's how you do it. Come back over here, you look at it same way, ram around, press F. Ram that shell down in there. Alright, now you have a cannon that's ready to fire, pretty much, but we need to aim it. And if you can see, like pretty much down the middle there's 3 targets. You want to hit one of them. This looks like it's pretty much on one already. And I forgot to mention, let's go back over here. Under the lid of each caisson, there's a table. It's the table of fire. And that first number is the elevation. And your elevation means, how high you're pointing or how low you're pointing the cannon. And if you look to the bottom right hand side, you'll see the elevation. Right now it's 1.09 degrees. And so if I click down with the S button, you'll see it go down a little bit. And what you want to learn is that iron blade at the very end of the cannon. You want to know or learn about where to have it when you're pointing at something, when you're trying to aim at something, because you don't necessarily want to rely on elevation, because a lot of times you're not going to be on flat ground, and so you have to eyeball a lot. So that's what elevation is. And then what this table is saying, that at 0 degrees elevation, so you click down to 0, the next column, range 380. If you have it at 0 degrees, it's going to shoot 380 yards. A lot of ranges you're dealing with in games is going to be, 300, sometimes less than 300, a lot of times less than 300. Rarely is it going to be, 600 yards. But sometimes you can, especially when you're using shell and you just want to, throw it at somebody or a column or a group of the enemy. I mean, you don't really care what that range is. But you do want to go far enough to hit them, of course. But it can say, 1,700 yards, and they may only be 200 yards away. That's fine. It's going to go in the ground and explode. The only time you really want to know about what the range is, and what I do as a general strategy is figure out about what the range is using shell, and then I can either use shell again to kind of explode over them, or use the case, which is this. When case explodes over them, especially a group of enemies, then it can really devastate them. Kill, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them maybe. And so, Steam just popped up. So that's what that is. That's the table. And the fuse, 380 yards. It's saying the fuse the fuse is going to be at 1.25. And that's important when you're trying to hit above the target, because you want your fuse length to be, hitting it. But the good news is that when you're aiming, to lengthen or shorten a fuse, you use page up or page down. And when you do that, it tells you what the range is, at what point it's going to explode. So, taking all that, let's aim it. And what you want to do is have it, you can see the that little hole in the foreground, which is your prime cannon. So when you want to prime the cannon, that little hole is like where the fuse comes out. So that's in the middle. You can see it there. And all it is press F. And I press F again to get rid of it. Let's go back to the elevation screw, and you can kind of see where that hole is. And so what you want to do is you want to line up that your iron blade, that your aiming device down at the end of the cannon, into the barrel, and you want it to be like in the middle of the target. So right there, if you can see, I'm to the left of the target, that middle target. So I want to move the cannon to the right a little bit. And to do that, you come back here, you pick up the trail spike, press F. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to tap it a couple times. See what that does. So it's like on the left edge of that target. What did a couple taps do? That went way far. Was I not lined up before? That looks to the right now. So let's go left a little bit. maybe. So to me, that looks about middle of the target. And now, so I know that I've got that aspect. I'm pretty much looking at the middle of the target. And the range doesn't matter right now, but the elevation does. And so I'm looking at 0.98. That thing said at 0, it's going to go 380 yards. If I look here, this is pretty flat, but come on, that's looking like if I completely close off, I don't see that sight blade anymore, or the aiming. So I don't think that's right. So this is probably, let's lift it up a little bit. And let's just experiment. Let's say that much. Let's have that blade. Okay, so it's barely, if you can see it, it's just barely showing at the end of the barrel. And like the top of it, the top of that blade is a little bit above bullseye. And let's just see where it hits, if it hits it at all. Maybe, that's, we say that elevation, that was 0.5. It's probably going to be too high. Looking at it now, looks like it's probably going to be left too. A little bit left. Well, let's just see. 0.51. Man, it looked good enough. And that's a good shot, actually. So we know that that was 0.51 in elevation. The left to right where we had it aiming, perfect. Let's go down a little bit and get a bullseye. Let's go back, let's push it back. What I did was, I'm looking at the wheel, it says push wheel, press F, and I'm pressing left, or you can press forward to just move it that direction. Let's just put it back to about where it was. Sometimes you can find a rock if you want to move it the same place every time. Find a little pentagram feature to line the wheel with. Go over here. Press on it. And you start it. Go over here and grab the shell. So the next slide is probably going to do the yeah, it did. It's around. It has slotted, get that around. Then you F. Over here. Is it still aimed about right? That's the question. Your leg hand looks off. Looks way off. Looks like it's aiming. Well, almost between the middle and left target's up there. Close to the middle, but still, it's moved it. You try something. See, just push it a little bit more. To about where before. Sometimes actually moves it. Is it just like around it is? And it's moving more to the left. No, that's the same. So maybe and move to the right a little bit. That's like because it was so good. One shot. One. Yeah. Tapped it 2 times. To the right. And another. Step ahead. See how much that moved it. So that looks close. Yeah, that's close enough. That's about middle. It's about where we want to go. Good enough. And we know it was 0.51 before. And it's 0.49 enough. Let's try 0.46. Let's see what that does. So we're going from 5.1 to 4.6. It did go down almost enough, but not really. And of course it's way off to the, well, not way off to the right, but I mean, it's a good shot. Don't get me wrong. But it's not bullseye. Okay, so I think I got it aimed about right here. Apparently I'm on a slope because it's kind of moving. So we did, let's go down to 4. And at 4, look at where that iron side is. It is, I mean, if you're just barely showing it, it's the tip of it, tip top of it is looking probably about where the bullseye is. Let's see what this does. Oh yeah, that's nice. I could go a little bit to the left a little bit more, but um, that's a really good shot. All right, let's go over to this one. Interestingly, let's try something out here, actually. Let's push this back up a little bit. So this is the 3-inch cannon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a different type of shell in here. Just to show. And let's say I've been, firing like crazy during this game and I've run out of shells. Well, here's another cannon. It's a different type of cannon. It's called the 10-pounder. 10-pound gun. Shells look the same. Take one. Let's go back to the 3-inch cannon. And will it show up? Look at there. Let's see how it does. As far as shell goes, nothing should really change. I haven't really experimented too much with this, but I would imagine that if we're trying to, well, let's just see. Let's use the same sighting. And so we know that the elevation we want is about 4. That's fine. And we want it, this looks like it's gonna hit it. Probably in the middle. Certainly if we had the 3-inch shell. Let's see what this does. So this is about the same as we had it last time. The last shot we fired. And I don't know, that looks pretty good. So there you go. You can use those 10-pound shells. Now let's go use this gun. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes if you want, if you're having trouble, just click F over and over again while you're kind of, looking around the barrel, and it'll sponge it or do whatever you're wanting really quick. All right, let's take a shell. Oh, if you notice, it'll give you the yardage that you're shooting at when you hit the target. It doesn't do that during a game, but here it does. It'd be really helpful if it did tell you the yardage during a game. That way you can figure out real quick what the yardage is and then start exploding case over people. So here... So they have it aiming towards the same targets we were looking at a while ago, but the farther left you go, the farther away the targets are. One thing you can do is if you look towards the edge of my screen, the right edge, you can see it kind of zooms in. To the left edge, you see it zooms in. And sometimes that helps, even if it's kind of like binocular. So even if you're playing infantry or whatever, you can kind of look around and see a little better. But so the targets to the left edge of my screen, near the top left corner, those are farthest away. So let's just start aiming at them. I think they're like, it's either 325 or 350 yards away. Just go ahead and jump right in. Take a look. That's nice to do. Okay, take a look. So here, you guys see the targets on here. But this looks to be a really kind of use. Not use it prime to use not kind of, but it has a little bump at the top of the barrel. And so you line up at the bump. And so here, looks like we're a little bit that target is close to. So let's right a little bit. We got 1, 2 taps. That's it. That was too much. What was it? I think it's okay, that's it. It's kind of tell because the targets on here are kind of downhill a little bit. Downhill a little bit. So here. But maybe I don't think it's there. So here. Well, I'm not happy with that. Or maybe. I don't know if I've seen it because the grass is on top. So let's take a look at the chart. And see this one. I don't like it. It's not very helpful. It doesn't really much. Relations to left. Starts at 1. I presume that 0 is going to be. I forget some zeros. Roughly what the range is. So what you really want to learn for this is where I have it, what I want to point that blade to. And I'll say, you guys see the blade here still. I'll go to 0.6. And look down to that. It's negative 0.4. Well, let's go a little bit higher than that. Let's go negative 0.1. It's close to 0. Let's see what this does. And it looks like it hit short. That's fine. But a little bit more of that aim blade at the end there needs to show. Let's go back for consistency. Perfect. That's good. Just went in. So it. Shell. 0.7 ounces. I think to the left a little bit. Can't really. Never see. Targets from this angle. Let's go. Just 0.1 to get to it. No. Okay. 0.10. And I'm gonna. Well, let's just see what that does. It looks way left, or fairly left. Let's see what. Yeah, well, left and really low. Slightly left and a little low, or very low. Swab, or sponge barrel, whatever. Wait a minute. Which guy is? Get close to bullseye. And remember, where you get that side at. You get bullseye. You know that for my distance. That's pretty much the same. Right away. Not really say that. Just not where you get bullseye. And that's pretty much where you want to have your aim blade, whenever you aim something. Whatever that is. It's like here right now, just visually. Oops, sorry. Sorry, loaded. That's good here. I want to be still left buttons. So that one has a way low. Go. 9. So I'm just looking at how much blade is showing. Let's see what that does. It's almost. That's about right. So height-wise, 0.39, 37 maybe would be right on. And it was to the left. So that's the parrot gun, 10-pounder. About the parrot. And yeah, the one with the screwy table. Let's use the 12-pounder. And I think this 12-pounder is already aiming. No, maybe aiming somewhere else. Let's go and fire this one. So first we need to swab it, maybe. Unless somebody's already done it. Nope. Okay. Swab. Or sponge. Whichever. Open up the lid. And look at that table. It says at 0 degrees, 300 yards. And so, 0 degrees, 30 minutes is halfway, or 60 minutes in a degree. So, so 0.5, we're looking at 425 yards. So I know this is more than 300, way less than 425. Oops, I need a shell. Another thing you want to make sure you do is sometimes, whenever you've done something, for whatever reason, you'll find yourself moving at quick time instead of double quick. And of course, just proceed and you'll go double quick. Hasn't happened here yet, but just want to go ahead and mention it. Load the shell. Oops. Bring it down. Let's aim it at the ones to the left, which you can see just past that bush up there, those rocks in the bush. There's the left target of the farthest one's back there. So let's go for it. Let's hit that one. Oops. Make sure you press F. I mean, it's like you can just, you can press also when you're moving around left or right for just about anything. Press the shift and it moves it a lot faster. And of course I can't see. That might be close. I know that at 0 degrees it's going to go 300 on a flat surface. This isn't flat. I know it's more than 300. Less than 5. I'm going to guess. And 0 here was looking at the ground, so let's just say, 4 start off with. And I need to go to the left a lot because I'm not even close to it. I need to raise it even more. No, I guess. So, look, and I'm left. I see it. I'm like, also, one, two, three. This is, oh, I just want to roll this way. I was like, so yeah, the early thing I'm like, yeah, I'm like, pretty, right, that's right. Okay, so that's it. I want to here. Let's go. Let's go down to 0.9. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it looked like it you know, I didn't check. Do I have it exploding before 300? No, it shouldn't. That looked really odd. So, back to the drawing board. I mean, it didn't even show up. It must have. They probably aim it a little bit higher. Maybe that was just short, but it looked like it exploded. That white cloud before we started. Maybe like 1 year before we started. Once again, have it explode. Oh, this is another light. Right here. Aim. That looks like the target's down here anyway. Maybe the wrong thing. But let me go to the right one. I think it's gonna be better. I think. It's too low. It's 394. Aim. Let's go for a 1. Just see if it raises me up just a hair if it makes it over that hump. Huh. It looks like it's just not registering. That's only where it is. Let's go on. So 1, there's an explosion down here. Let's try it. And again, I didn't like the views, maybe that's a problem. Maybe I have it shorter. Let's try it. Now it's 1048. Yeah, that's. I think so high for some reason. And that should make it over the top of the ground. And that should be back in. Let's try 0.48. Oops, I hit it or not. There we go. A little glitch. 0.48. Okay, that time it just sails past. Nothing. No explosion. I think I was hitting the target before, it just wasn't registering. So that one was obviously high. Just think that's target. It did though. That's why it just doesn't show up. Let's grab a shell. In here. Turn it down. Look here. The target is on the edge of the bush. It's like I'm in the middle of it. If I think, yeah. Maybe to the right a little bit. And maybe probably. Yeah, as far as left and right goes, it should be register. Elevation wise. So for these you're just looking at, just barely show. And that way, it should I think. That's a tree right there. Just barely right in there. Anyway, so let's I got here, it's a little high, actually. Let's see what 0.31 does. It's probably going to be short. No. A little high. 0.31 is a little high. Left, right, looks fine. So just, you can still high. And so we know that from about this side here, around, I'm going to work this side. So let's right side. From about there, it's going to be less than 3.1. That was pretty high, right? So go down. Go out really. Just test 7.31. Is at the top of the target. 0.1. So down to 0.21. Let's see what that is. That looks good as far as my goes. So 0.21 is weird. 0.21. Gone down a tenth of a degree. Let's see what happens. And it comes down pretty good ways. So if that was a tenth from before, then we just need to go down like, I don't know, 0.05 at most. So 0.16 I guess we did. Number try. And you are ready. So spawned it. Go back to whatever. It's good. Grab shell. Remember, it's anyone. It's basically around. So you know, it's all this time going on this wheel. In the box, fix myself. So. Aim. So that's about right. Or close enough. I go to a little bit. After 2 good shots, let's do this rounds. Just, I was trying to do my light on that at the beginning. Okay, so that's on. Alright, so we're at 0.21. We want to go, oops, we want to go down to 0.16. Okay. See what that does. I'm gonna guess closer to the middle, but maybe a little low. No, it's closer to the middle and right on. So that's a really good shot. I don't know if I can move it left that little. Yeah, triple lights before. I'll like, but my can's like grenades, it's closer. It's effective. I can 6 flat, responded to a shell. Back here. Yeah, I tap it. My last tap left. Yes, go to the full side, but I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, maybe sure. Alright, let's. One restaurant, but it didn't move. And it actually looks like I left the full side. Let's go back. Maybe it just didn't show. Let's go. Back left. Maybe that little bit of right hand, regret. No. I know that 0.16 is the ideal. So this is going to be a little bit low. Well, I mean, that's pretty on. It did go a little bit left. Not square in the middle like I was really wanting. And getting right in the middle of the 12 pounder is pretty good. But the big takeaway though, is, you know, how much of that aiming blade, the iron blade on top, to show when you're aiming at something. And the answer is not much. Just barely. Here. Otherwise, the elevation is messed up. Maybe doing 1.2 and it's really not actually fine for me. Here, this looks pretty good. So 0.5, I'll take it down 6. Yeah. 0.5 is not. It's good. Yeah. No. Yeah, so if you see, it's like it's barely showing. You basically want the tip of that iron blade to be exactly where you want it. So that looks like it would probably be, looks like it's, you know, pointing right at bullseye. The tip of that blade is right on bullseye. 0.15 elevation. I haven't moved it left or right, so it should be about the same. Oh, sweet. 343 yards. Bullseye. I'll take it. You see how it exploded down there with that white cloud? That's all it was doing at first, and nothing was registering. Maybe there's something else back there was hitting. There you go. Now we know that that's 343 yards, and we know that because we saw, bodies exploding. And we know that we had it, whatever we're aiming at, we're fine tuning, and we know that 350 yards was is about the distance that we fired. So now that we have that, plus you can just start to look, and you can kind of, well, if those targets were more visible, but you can kind of see, come up with a way to, figure out yardage, and you'll get better at eyeballing it. I kind of put down football fields. So 2 football fields is 200 yards, and I can kind of see that. Oh, so here I picked up a shell. I did not want to pick up a shell. I can't place it back in, but it reminds me that when you're in a game, and it didn't used to do this for me, but maybe it does it for other people too, is, you accidentally pick up a shell, and, oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Well, you can go back, you can look at an empty slot or empty space, and you can press F and it'll put back the shell, and then you can pick up something else. But a lot of times what happens is I'll put back that shell, and all of a sudden I'm stuck looking straight ahead. I can't look down to grab anything else. I'm just looking straight ahead. I think I can still move like left to right, but I can't pick up anything. I can't do anything. The way to solve that is to press 1. And 1 is essentially rearming the swabber or rammer, and it kind of readjusts itself, and you can start looking. You'll start behaving normally at that point. So just remember that, press 1 if you ever get kind of stuck in a position, or try to if you're an NCO. Maybe that'll work too if you arm your sword. Alright, so I got this loaded. Don't really need to push this up, but I know that we're 350 yards away, and I have shell in here, but it doesn't really matter. You can do the shell lowercase or canister, and I want to have something explode over the people, and so I know that if I look here, if I fire now, this is gonna hit them. It's going to run into them, and it might take out a person. It might just cause a bunch of people to fall down. So which sometimes, it's helpful if you just aim up a little bit. I'm going to aim up a little bit higher so that you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to press, I'm pressing page down, and if you look to the bottom right, you can see the range go down. I can press shift, make it go a little bit faster. But I'm going to set that range at 344 yards. Because I know that's going to be right above the target. And so let's take a look at, so it's going to explode over to the target about where I was pointing. And I'll try to run so you can see. You can kind of see that puff of smoke. Looks like it went into the trees a little bit. But that's what happens when you use case. Let's go ahead and swab it or sponge it. When the case explosion shows, anyway, pretty cool looking. It's a good case. It's a red shell. Insert. Right here, F. You can roll it anywhere. Aim. It might be dark if you put this in dark, darker. Sorry, it's like evening. So let's say, go shoot action troops in front. Let's try to see this explosion. It might be hard to see during the day, but it looks a lot better than the shell explosion because it's kind of like downward firing. The shell explodes. And it didn't show up at all. That happens. There's no puff, no nothing. Just too bad. Let's try it again. Maybe the first case, shoot this count. Maybe it does now. Let's shoot case, let's do the correct trade for it. Maybe next time, let's do this. In games, it usually shows up. What's our rating or what the deal is? It's a little higher. Sometimes when you're moving to the left, you always, I always get stuck. And sometimes if you're just kind of in an automatic mode, you know about how far you want to go across and fire, you'll get stuck and you go ahead and fire and the cannon runs you over. So there it goes. You can see the puffs of smoke. They usually rain down a little bit. It's hard to see, I guess, because of daylight. But anyway, case is pretty effective. You can get that range down, you know how far you're throwing it, and it'll explode right over their heads and shoot downward, and it'll you can kind of recognize it in games because it has those multiple puffs of smoke. What else? So yes, that's all better. So we'll call it, brass cannon or Napoleon, something like that. That's the point. Something. But yeah. Must be mistaken. Oh, it is called the Napoleon. I never called that. I always called it the parrot cannon. They call parrots 15 for a reason. But yeah, he says they're parrot cannon. And 3-inch. Which can fire. I mean, and the parrot can fire the 3-inch as well. I believe they're the exact same size. I'm just not sure. I haven't tested it out if the shell impacts what your settings need to be. I would presume that maybe it does, but as far as fuse time goes. Alright, we got the shell for the 3-inch gun in here. It still looks like it's pretty much on target from last time. I don't remember what we had it. Oh, let's just see what happens. Still pretty good. So maybe it doesn't change anything. I don't know. But, you know, definitely know how to fire, you know, these Napoleons or 12-pounder or brass cannons, whatever you want to call it. Shiny cannon, gold cannon. People call all kinds of stuff. And for these, I like shooting these, especially like the parrot gun. It just seems pretty accurate and consistent. And you get a lot of shells. And so if you're just, you know, wanting to fire a lot of shots or wanting to just need a lot of shots because you can't figure out the range or whatever, you know, use one of these and, you know, figure that stuff out and maybe then go to the Napoleon or, you know, these are good guns. You know, you can just stick with this and, you know, play a game with, you know, the 3-inch or the parrot. They're both good. Both have a lot of rounds you can use. And a lot of people just want to hit on those 12 pounders because they have the big explosions or whatever, but you don't have much ammo with them. And so when they run out of ammo and they leave, sometimes what they do is um, they'll run out of ammo on a gun, and maybe they've moved it somewhere and their caisson's done. And then somebody else will leave on a 12 pounder, but they've left some ammo or a lot of ammo sometimes. You can, and if you run out or you just want to start firing a 12 pounder because it's already looking at a direction or whatever, get on it for sure. And you know that it's different than those smaller guns in that, you just, when you're aiming, you just gotta barely show that iron sight. Everything else, pretty much the same. Figure out your yardage. Hopefully there's an officer to, tell you, where the enemy is or what, we should be aiming at or whatnot.